I'm here at the side of the River Trent here on the banks, and I'm particularly interested in this because there's a biocrust developing here, and it's under semi-desert conditions. This particular area of land is made of rocks and stone and is about a 30 degrees angle, and I'm hoping to find some interesting Syntrichia mosses here. I know that ruralis will be here, but I'm looking for a particular moss called caninervis, which is found all over the northern hemisphere, but strangely enough has not been recorded in Britain. And I think this is an excellent place to possibly find this moss, simply because it's so dry and it gets so much sun. And these mosses in this crust are almost black as they have dried out, and they dry out very quickly, and when it does rain a lot of the water is going to run off quickly. Hence it's a semi-arid kind of environment, and one where you'd expect a desert moss to grow in Britain, because it's exposed to full sun. And not only this, the temperature in Nottingham has risen by about 2.5 degrees in the past 30 years, which makes it easier for mosses to dry out. Mosses that prefer to be dry can dry out more quickly. This looks identical to an area of biocrust in the desert, and you can see how the mosses have collected a huge amount of sand and dust over maybe a number of years. And here's one of the mosses that is black, and I've sprayed it to dehydrate it, and as you can see here, the patch is sort of orange and brown, typical of Syntrichias. This patch is absolutely black in colour, and the leaves are screwed up into a kind of corkscrew shape, and I'm spraying it with water, and you can see how quickly the colour comes back into it within a minute usually. And again you can see that this patch is no longer black, it's turned orange and green, with the colours of the moss shoots coming back to life there. And as you can see, they're brown with green in it, and this is typical of Syntrichia caninervis, which is the desert moss which I've been looking for here. It could be ruralis, but this is what the soil that is collected under the moss looks like. The pads trap sand and dust. This is very similar to a desert biocrust, and possibly strands of cyanobacteria there. And I've taken a pad of this home and hydrated it by spraying it with water again under control conditions, so you can see how quickly the plant regenerates. And as I say, in less than a minute it's going to come back to life, and we'll be able to see the interesting orange and green shoots of this Syntrichia moss. And hydration does take less than a minute. And is this ruralis or caninervis? Well, it's difficult to be sure because the two mosses look extremely similar, but this one is smaller than a typical ruralis, and the leaves are more orange, or the majority of the leaves are more orange. So you could say that it has the general characteristics of caninervis, but caninervis has bistratose lamina. In other words, the leaves are 2 cells thick, and really the only way you can tell the two species of moss apart is by looking at them under a microscope, by cutting the leaves into sections and seeing whether they're 2 cells thick or 1 cell thick. If it's 2 cells thick, it's caninervis. If it's 1 cell thick, it's ruralis. But as I say, the two do look extremely similar, and it's going to take a real expert to tell the two kinds of moss apart. But this one certainly, to me, looks like the pictures of caninervis that you see in the textbooks. But of course, how can you be actually sure that mosses in textbooks have been correctly identified, or whether the ones that you see on the internet are identified correctly? This is a close-up of the crust section that I collected earlier, and you can see the open rosettes of the moss there, and you can see the orange and brown coloration of the leaves. Caninervis or ruralis? More tests are needed. Thanks for watching.